Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. Starting a diet in the new year can be overwhelming, and here to explain how to start it is author of Buddha's Diet, The Ancient Art of Losing Weight Without Losing Your Mind, Dan Zigmond. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, I already love the title, Losing Weight Without Losing Your Mind. How do we do that?
Well, Buddha's Diet is based on Buddha's instructions that he gave to his monks 2,500 years ago, but also on the latest science that our researchers here in California are finding about how we eat and how our bodies can relate to food. And it basically involves setting aside some time each day to eat and some time each day to fast. So we recommend limiting your eating to about 9 hours a day.
So get on some kind of eating schedule?
Exactly. So the book helps you gradually change probably any time eating that you're doing now to something that's a little more controlled and structured, so that you're eating, for example, for me, from about 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and not eating at the other times.
So many of us graze.
Exactly.
Especially if we have a lot of snacks at home, and we're at home maybe on the weekends, and you just start, how do you combat that?
Well, there are parts of our body, our hearts and our lungs, that really were designed to work 24/7, but our metabolism, our digestive system, just really is not built to work that way. And so you have to find ways over time of just getting a little more control over your schedule, finding other ways to kind of satisfy yourself when you get distracted, and not do so much mindless eating, to really try to bring a little more awareness to your relationship to food.
Why did you want to write this book?
So I've been a Buddhist for a long time, so I knew about these teachings from the Buddha from such a long time ago. But I was actually working here in San Francisco at Hampton Creek, a local food company. And so I was surrounded by food scientists and plant biologists and people who cared a lot about food. And they shared with me some of this research that had come out of places like the Salk Institute down in San Diego. And I was just surprised to see that what scientists were finding today echoed what the Buddha had been teaching such a long time ago. And I just thought that was such an interesting confluence that I wanted to share that with more people. And
eating healthy helps with a healthy mind, right? It helps
Absolutely.
With stress. What's the connection? How does it all connect?
Well, really, everything Buddha taught comes down to sort of mindfulness and awareness. And that when we bring a little more mindfulness to our life, it just sort of helps us focus on what's really important and not get so tied up in the things that do cause all that stress and what he would call that suffering. Food is one way that we can start to develop that kind of mindfulness in our daily life, and I think it really can do a lot to help us just have a little more balanced approach to everything.
Sure. Well, Buddha didn't drink alcohol.
That's right.
And you say it's not that you have to give it up completely, just limit it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think one thing about alcohol is, first of all, it does have a lot of calories. And so even if you're not eating after 6 o'clock, if you're, having a glass of wine or a bottle of beer, that's also stressing your metabolism, and so it counts in terms of that eating window. But it also does make it a little harder to stay mindful, and so we do recommend that you limit it.
Yeah, we were just talking about New Year's resolutions and how hard they are to keep, and also when we make promises to ourselves that we want to get healthy, those seem to be hard. So how do we do that, especially when we have a lot going on in our lives? I mean, you have a lot going on. How do you do it?
So first of all, take a step-by-step approach. We don't recommend that you just overnight try to completely change your schedule to the 9 hours that we recommend. So we have a gradual approach where you take it over a period of several weeks. But the other thing is, don't be too hard on yourself. We all make mistakes. Buddha made mistakes. And so learn from your mistakes, notice that you made the mistake, and then just use that not as an excuse to kind of slide completely off the wagon, but instead as a motivation to try to do a little bit better going forward.
Why is this diet different than others?
So many diets are about restricting what you eat, and they're very difficult. They often involve giving up things that we really like and that really bring us kind of joy and in our lives. This instead focuses on when you eat. So you can still eat pretty much everything that you enjoy. You just limit the time that you're eating it. So we think it's a little more sustainable. So many diets are diets we go on knowing that sooner or later we're just going to go off them again. This is really more of a change in our whole relationship to food, and it's something I think that people can stay on for a very long time.
And the fasting, we don't have to do that very long, right?
No, I mean, we're not fasting for days and days or anything like that. We're just stopping our eating at a reasonable point and then starting again the next morning.
Okay, any tips for people out there?
Just don't give up.
Don't give up. It's the best tip ever. Okay, all right. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
And for more information on Buddha's diet, log on to buddhasdiet.com. Again, that's buddhasdiet.com.